frozen can actually be more nutritious than fresh. And the reason for that is that now they freeze the fruits and vegetables just after they're picked, so it locks in the nutrient levels right there and then. If you take fresh fruits and vegetables, they get picked, they get put on a truck, they get taken to a distribution warehouse, they get put on another truck, they get taken to the supermarket, they get to sit in the back for a bit, then they come out, you buy them, leave them in the trunk of your car, take them home, put them in the fridge. That can be a long time. And as soon as fruit or vegetable is picked, the nutrient levels just start to drop a little, and they go down with time. So sometimes frozen is a better option, especially when things are out of season, and especially if it can be. The general position is, if it's the difference between you eating vegetables and not eating vegetables, eat conventional. You know, if that's going to make all the difference. I personally think the evidence for organic being more nutritionally important is good. It might not be, you know, as good as everybody thinks, certainly not like 4 or 5 times better, but there's a 20-30% increase in some nutrient values in organic over conventional. There is the pesticide issue, there is the how good it is for the earth issue. Some people are very comfortable with doing things that, you know, don't involve pesticides and pollution and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's more expensive. Sometimes people say it tastes better, it probably has more vibrant colours, who knows. But the whole point is to eat fruits and vegetables in the first place. If you want to make them organic, absolutely go ahead, if you can afford it.
If you can grow them yourself, it's even better.
Yeah.
I said if you can grow them yourself, it's even better.
You'll be surprised to hear that the salt you put on your food doesn't contribute at all to the amount of sodium you get in your diet. All the sodium you get in your diet comes from processed foods. Almost all of it. The salt shaker has absolutely almost no impact. And don't forget, sodium is a mineral, just like potassium. And you need 100% of your potassium. You need 100% of your sodium. Trouble is, people today eating a lot of processed foods, they're getting 1,000% of their sodium. That's the bit you have to watch. It's an essential nutrient. Without it, you would have all sorts of blood pressure problems and other problems. But you have to keep an eye on it. And it's the processed foods that you have to keep an eye on for sure. The one thing that is impossible to get from a plant-based diet is vitamin B12. That is the only one that is actually not present in fruits and vegetables. So if you're going to devote yourself to a wholly fruit and vegetable diet, you'd have to get that from somewhere else. Now, luckily, cereals are fortified with it. So that's not a bad option.
Soy milks are as well.
And soy milks are too. So it is in the general food chain. But you know, I personally would avoid supplements at all costs. And then to your second point regarding things like that we term phytochemicals, which are the compounds in fruits and vegetables which are not vitamins and minerals. They're the polyphenol, antioxidant, anthocyanin type compounds. And Kevin mentioned there that, you know, you might have to eat 20 apples to get as much of a compound called quercetin that you would get in a little pill. I mean, that's basically true, but if you're eating apples the whole of your life, you're probably going to get the benefit of the quercetin as you're aware of the Dole Nutrition Institute as it pertains to the educational arm of Dole. We have a newsletter that goes out monthly, and we addressed this problem in an article fairly recently. There's a good study out there that shows if people consume calcium purely from vegetables, and you compare them against a group that consume get their calcium from vegetables and a supplement, as opposed to dairy and a supplement, you find out that the people who eat the vegetables get less calcium in their diet. But guess what? They have greater bone density. So it shows you that you don't need as much because the body is able to utilise it.
Yeah, it is true that they're doing a lot of work right now with anthocyanins, and I think that what's one of the most interesting things about some of these compounds that are in these foods is that they're able to cross the blood-brain barrier. So that was something that Phyllis mentioned earlier, that I did some work with aging. And so that was something that we saw with the blueberry fruit that was really interesting, is some of the compounds that are in the blueberry fruit, these anthocyanins, not only are they having a benefit on, you know, just multiple different parts of your body, but also they're able to cross the blood-brain barrier and have benefits in your brain as well. So this can influence cognition and memory and so there's some really interesting research right now going on with anthocyanins.